Hey friends, I hope you're ready for another math adventure! All right, today on our Flip Classroom, we are talking about something we're gonna do rename numbers. So the other day, we talked about how we could say one number three different ways. We did the standard form, which was the number form. We did the word form, and then we did the expanded form. So today, we're once again gonna take one number and we're gonna see how many different ways we can say this number. So this is important because lots of times people, instead of saying 3,200, they'll say $3,200, right? So there's different ways to say more than one number, and we want to make sure we understand all of these. And what's going to help us do that is place values. So let's get started. All right, our I can statement today is I can rename whole numbers. Please say it with enthusiasm. All right, so our first problem today, we're going to say what are the different ways to say, and then if you remember how to read this, 500,000, okay? So we could say this as 500,000, but there's actually more ways to say it. So let's take our 500,000 and we're going to put it in our chart over here. So we have 6 places over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We put our 5, our 0, comma, 0, 0, 0. All right, we see that this is 500,000 because the 5 is in the hundred thousands place, right? But what if we wanted to describe this number in a different way? Instead of hundred thousands, what if we want to describe it in terms of 10,000? So if we describe this, let's start with the way we know how to say it. We would say 5, and then we'd write the word hundred thousands. Okay, there's 5. We'd have 500,000. There'd be 5 of 100,000. Okay? All right, but if we wanted to say, what could we say if we wanted to say 10,000s? How many 10,000s are there in 500,000? So we go over here, we look in our 10,000s place, and we see, oh, there's 50 10,000s. All right, what if we just wanted to write it in terms of thousands? Okay, we want it in terms of thousands, we say, okay, let's go over here to the thousands place, underline it, everything to the left of it, so there's 500 thousands. All right, so we have 500 different thousands. So if I had a cube that represents 1,000, I would have 500 of them to get to 500,000. All right, let's keep going. Let's see if we wanted to see how many hundreds this was. Let's go over here to our hundreds place. Everything to the left, that would be 5,000 hundreds. I hope you're seeing the pattern here. Okay, we have 500 thousands. Or 5,000 hundreds. Sorry, I said that backwards. So if we had sticks of 100, a flat of 100, we'd have 5,000 of them. All right, let's do tens, and lastly, we'll do ones. All right, let's look at tens. If we go to the tens place, underline it, everything to the left, it looks like we're going to have 50,000 tens. So if we were looking at tens, we'd have 50,000 of them. All right, and last one, ones. Ones is easy. It's everything we have so far. So we have 500,000 little one pieces. Okay? I hope you see the pattern. We have 5, 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000. And I hope you remember that every time we go from here to here, that's times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10. And when we add times things, by 10, they just add a 0. Times 10, another 0, times 10. Crazy! That's how math works. So we could say this 500,000 as 500,000, 50 10,000s, 500,000s, 5,000 hundreds, 50,000 tens, or 500,000 ones. Isn't that crazy how many different ways we can say one number? So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how we can take one number and say it all these different ways. So we're not going to do every single number all these different ways, but let's try our first example. Example number 1. All right, if we had the number 3,200, okay? Everyone see 3,000, it's in the thousands place. Let's put it up here. 3,200. And I wanted to ask you, how could we say this number in terms of hundreds? How many hundreds are there in 3,200? So this is how we do it. We go over here. If you have a chart, we can put it in. That's great. In my hundreds place, I've got a 2. So everything to the left of it is going to be in the hundreds. So we could say that I have 32 hundreds. I hope that makes sense. So whenever you're looking for how many hundreds or tens or ones or whatever it is, you go to that place. So you went to the hundreds place, and then everything, that number and everything to the left of it are work. So the 2 is in the hundreds place, and so we just underline everything to the left. So there's 32 hundreds in this. If we wanted to say tens, we could say, oh, the zeros in the tens, so everything to the left of it, we'd have 320 tens. Crazy. All right, let's try another one. Example number 2. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause it and slow down. All right, let's do, we have 150, and I want to know how many tens is this. All right, so I'm going to plug it in over here. I put 150. I look, oh, what number is in my tens place? My 5 is. So everything to the left of it is included. So I have 15 tens. 15 tens. My tens place is a 5. Everything to the left of it, 15 tens. Okay, great. Let's try another example. Example number 3. If we had the number 1,400, and I wanted to know how many hundreds. How many hundreds are there in 1,400? So if I took my 1,400 and separated it into hundreds, how many would I have of them? So we go to the hundreds place. Here, we'll do one more over here. I'll put it in 1,400. In my hundreds place, I have the 4, so I underline it. Everything to the left, so I have 14 hundreds. Awesome. Okay, let's do one more, and then I'm going to have you do your first pause problem. All right, if we had, this would be example number 4. If we had the number, what if I wrote this one a little bit different? What if I wrote it 2,300? And then I wanted to know how many hundreds this was. Okay, you can't just be like, oh, Miss Gillette, it tells us 300 right there. Guys, no, what about this whole 2,000? Yes, the 300s, there's 3 of those. But how many hundreds are in this 2,000? So whenever you see a word problem, let's change it to the standard form, which is the number. So if I wrote 2,000 in my thousands place, 3 in my hundreds, 2,300, that's what this number looks like. Okay? Now let's find how many hundreds. I go to my hundreds place, which is my 3, everything to the left of it. So I have 23 hundreds. Cool beans, right? All right, now we're going to do a pause problem. All right, here's your first problem. Happens to be our example number 5. Okay, remember, you pause it and answer it and then come back to me. If I had 570,000. And I wanted to know how many 10,000s were in this number. Okay, how many 10,000s are in the number 570,000? Pause it, and then I'm just gonna keep going. All right, I first go to my 10,000s place. This is my thousands, so my 7 is my 10,000s. I highlight everything to the left, so I see that I have 57 10,000s. So if I took my 570,000 and I split it up into equal piles of 10,000s, I would have 57 piles. All right, here is our last pause problem. Let's see how you do. Hope you got this one right. All right, our last one. Example number 6. If I had 18, I'm writing in numbers, don't let it stress you, 18,000. And I wanted to know how many tens were in 18,000. Okay, don't let it trick you. All right, you pause it, you try it. If I had the number 18,000, how many tens were in that? Okay. All right, remember, first thing we gotta do is write it out. If we had 18,000, okay, 18,000, I would have, so I go over here to my tens, it's a 0, and remember, everything to the left is what I underline. So it looks like I would have 1800, 1, 2, 3, put I think 1,800 tens. So if I took my 18,000 and then I split it up into piles of 10, I would have 1,800 different piles of tens. Crazy. All right, that's our lesson today. Remember, math is an adventure. And yeah, remember, you can pause, rewind, and don't forget right now to ask a question. If you have any questions, remember, you can't say, I do not know. You have to ask a question. Okay, bye guys.